Hey guys, it is John C. Morley here, serial entrepreneur. It is great to be with you on Inspirations for Your Life. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for checking out the show and being here. We have a lot of great stuff to share with you. Whether you're with me at 8:15 p.m., 8:15 a.m., 3 a.m., 3 p.m., 6 a.m., 6 p.m., it doesn't really matter. Thank you so much for being here with me. And this whole week, we're talking about the master topic, why life is like music. We've been talking about that a lot. But I want to dive right into the show and I want to talk about some really cool things. So, whether you're new to music or not new to music, music is very powerful. It can boost creativity to breaking barriers. And we'll explore how this can affect people like working together, creating unforgettable music, and building lasting connections. Whether you're the seasoned artist or you're just putting around, starting this episode with us, hopefully I'll inspire you to tap into the magic of collaboration. And so grab your headphones, a cup of coffee, or that little great snack or beverage, and let's unlock some potential of working together in the world of music. All right, guys. So we're talking about enhancing creativity. So in music, when we enhance creativity, things sound better. No joke, no mistake. Things sound better when we are actually dealing with music, right? Now, it doesn't happen like all the time, right? But you have to have some interesting things. And I have to tell you that it's something that is pretty interesting, but it's something that you've got to work at a little bit, okay? And so I can tell you that it's important that you do learn how to enhance creativity, whether it's with one person or whether it's with a lot of people. It's important to know that you have more power than you think you have. Okay. And I want to tell you that this is like so amazing because when we learn how to collaborate, you've heard the saying, two minds are better than one. Well, five minds are better than two, right? 10 minds are better than five. 100 minds are better than 10. Um, is that we start to take on roles and responsibilities, but they become very intuitive to us. We just sort of do it naturally or in the flow. If you haven't guessed, that's what great music is. It's in the flow. It's not a lot of work. So we learn from each other, right? We learn from each other. And when we do this, it's like magic happens. Magic happens. And this magic allows us to, let's say, do some pretty incredible things. All right. Some very, very incredible things. And these incredible things, ladies and gentlemen, will allow you to bridge barriers and gaps. And they'll also inspire you to dig deeper within yourself. I mean, when you collaborate and when you learn from each other, it's like, oh, wow, I didn't know I could do that. I didn't know that was possible. Now you do, right? So this is how it works. When we do these things, we break barriers. Just like in music, when we come together, when we get the right notes together, we break some unbelievable barriers. Of course, we build relationships. There are things in music, there are relationships in music. And so, what do I mean by relationships in music? Well, you have things like harmony. We have note relationships, right? Things like rhythm. We have notes. We have timing, right? Um, we have accompaniment of other instruments and sounds. And so when we collaborate, it inspires growth within us and within others. It's this natural feeling we get when we're able to help others. We will oftentimes help ourselves. Now, you know what you're probably saying to me? Well, John, I want to help myself first. Well, it's good to help yourself, but when you do have a desire to help others, those people want to help you. I'm going to give you a perfect example. So there was a gentleman a while back. We get these different Facebook groups, and somebody had liked something I was doing. They said, "Hey, John, I really want to work with you. I want to do some stuff." It's great, and it was just some social stuff we were doing. And so I was putting on some events, and they were like really gung ho to meet me. And so we had scheduled a time, and they blew it totally off. Like I scheduled 8 o'clock in the morning. Oh, dude, like I'm working at 8 o'clock in the morning. I thought you meant 8 o'clock at night. And I'm like, we planned this for 2 or 3 weeks. And then the person, was busy. I said, let's reschedule. They never did. And then I see them popping up at all these other places and other events. They always tell me that you're busy doing anything. But it's funny how they're able to make time to do these other things. So I wrote them back a very polite little, let's say, a very polite little thing. And I think what's interesting about this is that I learned something that I didn't know. And what I didn't know was this. And I said this to the person. I know you said you were busy with work and all kinds of stuff. I was hoping you would have told people to buy tickets for my event, but I guess that's not a big priority for you. I see you at lots of events and you push them, but you never seem to push mine. In the beginning, it seemed like you really wanted to help me, but people say a lot of things, but they don't do things. So I guess I just misread you from the beginning, thinking you were going to help me other than just allowing me to post. I'm working hard on these events, and it would be nice if you would tell people to attend them. So what I learned from this was that some people are unable to follow through. They want to in their heart, okay? But they get so sidetracked that they couldn't keep track of, let's say, walking and keeping their head on if it wasn't attached for them. And I don't mean this in a bad way. I just mean that when you get people like this, you have to figure out, what are you going to do? You can't let them pull you down. So creating an impact in our life and in music is something that a lot of people strive for every day. They work on figuring out how they're going to create an impact instead of being the impact. So what's the difference? When I say I'm going to work on creating an impact, a lot of times that can come off phony. But when I have an impact because of spontaneity or because of a feeling or just something that happens over me, that's a lot more meaningful and it's a lot more truthful and a lot more believable. The other thing is fostering inclusivity. Whether you're straight, gay, bi, trans, or whatever, or you're a certain party or not a certain party or a certain color of skin, race, religion, we have to embrace inclusivity because inclusivity is what allows us to all be one and work together. So fostering inclusivity starts out with the rainbow. And why do we say a rainbow? Well, Roy G. Biv, right? Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. So when we start to embrace the rainbow, okay, it's like everything has a joyful purpose. Everything. Just the fact that you appreciate others will draw them together to you. Just that one fact. But so many people that you will probably bump into are obsessed with themselves. They're more important than everything else out there. And that's a problem. I'll give you another example. So I have a good friend of mine. And in the very beginning, when we started being friends, oh gosh, probably over 10, 15 years ago, I was always there to help the person. When they never needed some kind of help, technology help, I was always there for them. But then when I needed something that they did, they would do it if it was convenient for them. But then they just kind of like they flaked on me a couple of times. So I remember them needing my help, and I just kind of politely remind them, hey, every time you call me, I always get back to you. Every time you ask you something, I always get back to you, right? And that person went through some hard times in their life, and I was there for them through those hard times. Now, it wasn't technology help. It just happened to be that I own a print production and media company as well. And so they needed to have some stuff copied and scanned because they were in the middle of a bad legal dispute with their partner and eventually going to break up. And so when they realized later on, a few years later, what I had done for them, they suddenly were able to know that they should put their foot forward to help me. That was important. Not just for me, but for them. And this is stuff that you have to realize and you have to get. If you don't get it, the music doesn't sound good. And if you don't get it, then the music within you, then your craft is going to fall apart. Shared successes. When we both win, we share success. When we both win, we share successes. When we both win, we share successes. Maybe you've had a challenge where you can't do something because it's just not going the right way. And then when you share the challenge that you've had, and they have a similar challenge, it causes an immediate bond. It's like when we play notes that are all in one scale, let's say the C scale for argument's sake, to be simple. There's no flats in the C scale. When we play notes that are in the C scale and we go all the way up and all the way down, they just sort of blend together, right? They sound right. If I suddenly go from C and then all of a sudden I go to a C sharp scale and I don't go into the C sharp, but I happen to play a note out of the whack and not in the key, it's going to sound terrible. So a lot of people don't realize this problem, and it's called problem solving together. Many people think about their problem, but what we have to think about is our problem or our challenge together, and how can we come out of this smelling like a rose? How can we all do the best that we can do? That sounds like a very, very hard thing, doesn't it? But I'm going to be truthful with you. When you get through that hard time of solving that problem, it becomes easier later. I've said to you guys many times before, no one wants to get on a parked train or a parked airplane that's in the runway. But they will risk their lives to jump on board that plane, that train, that boat as it's moving 50 or 100 miles an hour. Because now it entices them. It's like when you have an event, right? People don't sign up to come to an event because they don't think enough people are coming. So we have to embrace these shortcomings and figure out how we can make them much better in our lives. Does that make sense? I hope so. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know who I am by now, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Mr. John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. It's always such a privilege, a pleasure, and honor to be with you on these fantastic evenings or on any of the shows that I do with you guys or my short media or my reels. It's great to just get out all this information. And when we can come together, when we can put together the right elements in music, when we can assemble the right people, the right resources, the right mindset in our life, we can create miracles. When we do it in music, we create a masterpiece. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys have a fantastic evening, and I'm going to catch you guys on another show real soon. All right, take care.